I'd like to find the road we roam together, swinging along, finding the long way home. We didn't mind the time or place or weather, singing a song, finding the long way home. Remember, I used to sigh at the end of each day, dear.
What is happening, house lovers and explorers? Welcome back to another video, and this one is definitely a history-packed episode, which I'm sure you will all enjoy, but also be frustrated as you will see the demise of a beautiful local heritage home. Now, this location is at the intersection of Cross Road and Fullarton Road here in Adelaide, South Australia, where in 2021, demolition works started to make way for the intersection to be upgraded for better traffic flow. And as usual with these processes, there is a price to pay of losing old homes and buildings. But in this case, there was a bittersweet outcome as the local community were able to rally enough support to have the old Urbex gatehouse saved and relocated instead of demolished. And I'm going to be doing a separate video dedicated to that process in the near future. But as mentioned, we lost this magnificent Spanish Mission Art Deco influenced home. An iconic home that everyone could see standing proudly on the corner as you come down Cross Road from the freeway into Adelaide. Alright, so let's get into some of the history and backstory for this old gem. I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to chat via email to Robert and David Munday, who is the son and grandson of Neil Horace Munday, the original owner of the home. David saw my Facebook post back in 2021, just after the demolition of the home, and suggested that I speak to his father Robert, who could share his first-hand experiences and knowledge of the home. Robert, who is now in his mid-90s, was able to recall that in 1938, his parents, Neil Horace and Dorrie Eva, sought out local architect Mr. Percival William Culley to design and build the then fresh and in-style two-storey Spanish Mission Art Deco home. Mr. Culley, who had earned himself a commendable reputation as an architect around Adelaide and within the building industry, was able to construct the home in 6 months, finishing in December of 1938. Now, I have to say a big thanks to Lisa also, as she kindly gave me copies of these old photos of the home's construction to share with you all, and I will fill you in on Lisa's involvement regarding the house soon. But these photos are just so important in my opinion, as they are not something that you come across often, if at all. And for the story of this home, I'm very thankful that we can all just look at the history that was captured in the process nearly 100 years ago, just to be able to see the stages of construction and the way that the workmen got around up on the building with no harnesses, while all the materials are just balanced perfectly ready for use. The old saying, "they don't make them like they used to," really does fit well here as we enjoy looking at these old photos. And Mr. Culley is seen here with perhaps the contractor foreman, maybe discussing whether they can get it all done before Christmas. And that they did for the proud new owners Neil and Dorrie Munday, along with son Robert and daughter Mary. The home had most of its lifespan directly linked to the medical profession, as Neil was a highly skilled surgeon, becoming fully qualified after serving his country in World War I. Neil and Dorrie married in 1925 and spent several years in England while Neil was a surgeon, before returning to Adelaide with his family in 1937. As mentioned, the new home was built in 1938 and the family lived there up until 1951. Son Robert wrote in his email to me that from the age of 8 through to 21, this house was his home, and he says it played an important part in his early life, and he has admired it from afar ever since. I asked him about the little old bungalow which used to be right next door, as it is still visible in the 2009 Google Street images seen here. It's also clearly visible in the aerial shots, seen here also. Robert told me that the bungalow was the home of Winnie Sharp, and she was a tennis coach at this point. There was a grass tennis court directly behind Winnie's bungalow in the backyard, and Robert received his first tennis lesson here in 1938. I did some research and found out that Winnie was a 2-time state champion, winning the females singles titles in 1913, then defending her title by winning again the following year in 1914. I found this great Trove article from 1929 that goes into detail about her career, and she would later have her legacy remembered with a tournament named the Winnie Sharp Tennis Cup in her honour. Robert also remembers that she had a mixed doubles session on Sunday mornings, which he used to watch. He says one of the men that played had only one arm, and he held the second ball in his armpit and then threw it up with the same hand that held the racket. Robert said the man played very well like this nonetheless. This may be a great hint that Winnie was proactive in getting people with disabilities involved in tennis, because the photo that I found of Winnie playing that you've seen, this one here, it came from a change.org petition to the International Tennis Federation, in which her great-great-nephew, Nathan Ryan, is to be following in her footsteps to support people with physical disabilities who play tennis standing. This is also known as para-standing, and he is running this petition, and his son Kai fits into this category. The link to this article is in the description, guys, so check it out. Winnie's full name was Ethelwyn Mary Sharp, as seen here on the land title for her property, in which she lived up until her death in 1959, aged 68. Her property was transferred to Gerald McIntosh and his wife Betty. Gerald was also a doctor, and he purchased the Grand Spanish Mission Home from Dr. Neil Munday in 1951 for the sum of £13,500. This would be a long-time ownership of the home for Gerald and Betty. Gerald was able to successfully operate his medical practice from within the home. They added a pool in between Winnie's old bungalow and the tennis court, with the bungalow then becoming the caretaker's quarters. Gerald and Betty lived here for over 50 years, and to my understanding, Gerald passed away first in the early 2000s, and then Betty a few more years later after continuing to live in the old home by herself. Many people who commented on my Facebook post of the old home can recall first-hand experiences with Dr. McIntosh, and many more stating how iconic the home was standing there on the busy corner. And the link to that Facebook post from 2021 is also in the description. Well, guys and gals, I think we should get into the explore part of the video now. The home was in a salvage stage, but luckily it was mostly intact still, and I will elaborate more on the renovations that were done and show the pristine real estate photos, which is where Lisa's involvement was. And unfortunately for all of us, that became the last chapter of the home's existence. I did manage to find a couple more cool old tobacco tins underneath the floor, and they scrubbed up nicely also. And just bear in mind, guys, I filmed this footage over 4 years ago now, and while doing the walk around I was not aware of all the historical details that I just provided you all with. Alright, let's get into it. Thanks for watching, and I hope you all enjoy. Yeah, they've started to fence off, at least this one and a couple over the back there, so going to take a walk through this one. They've started salvaging door trims, and I did take a quick walk through. I can't find access to the top level yet, unless I missed it somewhere. There's an elevator around the other side that's obviously not working because the power's cut, but I haven't found a stairwell yet. I've got a sneaking suspicion it's behind that front door though, which is locked. But yeah, this is like a little mini mansion. I don't think it's actually that old. And it's been heavily redone inside. It's probably built in the, if you look at this, the 30s. If you go by that door trim. And the windows, size of the windows, but as you see when we get inside, it's been heavily renovated. Yeah, that is locked, unfortunately. No intercom, no anything like that. Alright, we'll go for a look. I'll give you another look at this angle. It's a pretty iconic building because it's on probably one of the most busy intersections in Adelaide. And ironically, it was about a year to the day that there was a fatal car accident just out the front here that I was only minutes behind. And this wall actually got caved in because one of the cars flipped over and smashed into this wall, and there was 3 fatalities. And yeah, I was only like a minute or 2 coming this way from when it happened. It's a pretty bad accident. Actually, this will go this way. Well, you would consider this a mansion, but it has been divided up into separate living quarters. I think there's about four different living spaces, and it's pretty much been stripped out. But everything, paintwork, all the ceilings, as you can see, they've been fitted out with lower ceilings, ceiling lights, new flooring, even though they've ripped it up here. That would be the original fireplace, even though that was converted to gas. This goes round into a bedroom and an ensuite. Yeah, unfortunately, that front door is in there somewhere, behind that wall. And as you'll see, there's an elevator around the back where the carports are. But you always have to have an emergency stairwell, which I think was behind that front door. And again, it's behind that drywall, the foyer, to where that front door is. So that's one little corner, living section. So it's a 2-bedroomer. That would have been the formal kitchen, living room, the bedroom we were just in, bedroom number 2, closet and ensuite in there. They've ripped up some flooring there, but you get the gist. It's pretty brand spanking new. Yeah, so it was not long after they had to get that front fence fixed that they were told that they had to get out of this place for the new intersection upgrade. So this is like the back courtyard area. The garages are in there behind that section. And there's the lift. So the penthouse must be upstairs, like that must be the penthouse section. And unfortunately the lift, no good, because there's no power. I reckon someone has tried to maybe get up on there, the balcony. So I'll take you quickly through this one. Same, I think this was the kitchen. You walk straight into the kitchen that's been stripped out. Probably a combination living room and kitchen. That's quite a big area. Basin, toilet and shower. Very, very new setup. Bedroom 1. Whoops. Bedroom 2 with a missing floor. And you've got your ensuite and walk-in robe over there. And there's one more little living space in here. Actually, no, this was the garage, that's right. So it's probably three living spaces. 2 downstairs and the main penthouse upstairs. Okay, so I'm back at the corner of Fullarton and Cross Road, the old late 30s mansion that's going to be demolished. Back here checking on the second level to see if it's open, which it's not, but I'll add this to my collection of cool things I find, because there's a little tin in there. Now, I've found tobacco tins before, and old other cigarette packets and stuff. I don't know what that is yet, so I'm going to get a piece of wood and flick it across. Well, there's a piece there. It's upside down. Army Club, Sandhurst sized. I don't know if it's tobacco or London. There's a little it's a London tin. Army Club. Cigarettes, there you go. 50 Army Club cigarettes. So this home was built 1939, according to one real estate site. So if it's in the foundations, it's got to be at least that old. Army Club, Second World War. It's about the same around the time. Alright, pretty cool, guys. There's another section in a room over there I might have a bit of a look into. But it always pays to look. I'll try and clean that up at home, guys. And so, we're now in the other room, and within seconds, I think we've found another one right there. It's got a bit of a red finish to it. It definitely looks like a tin. Now, lucky it was face down. That means it's going to be better preserved than if it was face up. So I'll just stand up. That's pretty good nick, actually. It's just got your dirt on it. Really happy with that one. That'll clean up really well, guys. State Express, that's another 40s tin. Late 30s, 40s. So fingers crossed, guys, that the door is open to the upstairs. The one I've tried several times and it hasn't been open. This is going to be the last chance we get a look in there, so. So glad they didn't start knocking the main part down, otherwise. Come on. The door handle's gone. Oh, you beauty. So happy. I mean, I think it's going to be updated just like the other section. But it's going to complete the Explore. Looks like they've pulled apart the sinks, or the basins out of the bathroom and stuff up there. And that is just a storage area by the look. Whoops. Yep. So, I don't know if that's the original staircase. I would say it's a safe bet that it is. Oh, they've actually... Okay, that sucks. I think they've actually taken the stairs off that section. That was... I'll still be able to step up there, guys. Now just let me sit the camera down. Use both hands. There we go. Those metal beams were quite safe anyway, but yeah, there they are. They look like the bathroom countertops with the sinks. Definitely the penthouse section, all one living area up here. Just turn my light off for a sec, but there's the gatehouse. And this whole intersection, as I mentioned, is going to be totally transformed and upgraded. Now this is where they have knocked the roof in. So not much to see here, guys. Here's an original fireplace. Whoops, that was plasterboard. Yeah, that's definitely the original. Fireplace in the chimney. And the bathroom. Yeah, it's like they don't really bother to salvage anything modern. And the other part, where the other bedroom. Ensuite for this bedroom. Same deal. Haven't found out where the elevator came up yet. Try and suss that out now. There it is there. Is that it? It's got to be here. Ah, here it is. That's locked. Get a view off this balcony. Well guys, we finally got upstairs for a look around, and although some of the trimmings and some of the basins had been removed, you can still see how the renovations and the remodelling was done. But these real estate photos show it off much better as we take a look. Now Lisa, who I've mentioned, she also saw my Facebook post from 2021 and contacted me. She was able to tell me that the property was purchased by the retirement village that she manages in 2009, and that the small bungalow and pool were condemned by the council prior to the purchase. The bungalow was riddled with white ant damage, so it was demolished around 2010. The pool was also filled in and the larger home was refurbished. Plans were then put into the Heritage Council for the remodelling and renovation stage that would see the retirement village format seen in the real estate photos. But those plans took 6 years to approve, so during those 6 years the home was actually used for student accommodation. And you could imagine the disappointment in securing one of these freshly renovated living quarters for your retirement, only then to find out that you have to move out due to an intersection upgrade. And when you actually take a look at the corner where the home sat, there are now cheaper replacement style townhouses. They do sit back a bit, and there is no doubt the intersection has expanded, but the iconic old charm of the gatehouse and Spanish Mission gem you see as you come into Adelaide has just vanished completely. Progress and planning requires a lot of tough decisions, I'm sure, to keep a city and suburbs running as smoothly as possible. So there will be always old homes and buildings in the firing line, unfortunately. But that's not to say they cannot be saved or remembered. And with that said, I did manage to capture a fair bit of the demolition stages, which I will show now. Not to try and make you all sad, but more so as a farewell to a grand heritage home that once stood here, including all the history that was involved with it. And as I have mentioned, a video on the gatehouse relocation will be coming soon as well. Alright guys and gals, jump in the comments and let me know your thoughts or your memories of this old home or anything to do with the intersection. As always, I will say thanks for watching. I'll move on to another one and see you all in the next video. Alright guys, cheers. Bye.